Here with reaction, counselor to the president, Kellyanne Conway. All right, Kellyanne, have at it.
Jesse, it's not just that the base won't leave him, but look what's happened with independents.
Yep.
They abhor this impeachment charade. The polls among independents have been going in the wrong direction for the Democrats. Why? Because independents call themselves that because they don't particularly like Democrats or Republicans. They like to fancy themselves independent and nonpartisan, and they have witnessed the most partisan exercise in the last several years against this president. Let me tell you what wasn't in the call. Any mention of 2020, any mention of Biden as some scary, spooky political opponent, any mention of aid to Ukraine. The word demand was nowhere in there, even though you have these Democrats just this week with their voting articles of impeachment, which is light bathroom reading. They parade around saying he demanded. He never said the word demand in the call. And what's not in the articles of impeachment? Extortion, med extinction, bribery was a big bust. Quid pro quo. Did the cat get your Latin-speaking tongue? I haven't heard quid pro quo in 2 weeks. It's all I heard for 2 months.
Right.
Collusion and illusion. Finally, the Democrats, at the very least, agree with the rest of us that the Mueller report, the Mueller investigation of 2.5 years and 35 million taxpayer dollars, and the Mueller testimony itself is irrelevant. They didn't even have the nerve or the verve to include anything Mueller in the articles of impeachment. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. It's abuse of power, which is going on by the Democrats, and it's something called obstruction of Congress, which, of course, is the wrong preposition. It's obstruction by Congress.
Yeah.
They are wasting your time and your money. You know, if I were a Democrat, you know what I would have done this week, a Democrat in the House or Senate, particularly in the House, I would have come to the congressional ball that was hosted by the President and the First Lady, where they held forth for 2 hours. They shook hands, mingled with the crowd for 2 hours. If I were a Democrat, I would have come to the congressional ball and I would have said, Mr. President, we just passed the USMCA together. We just passed prescription drug coverage together. Will you come to my district and cut a ribbon or stand with me so people in my district, the Trump-Pence district, can see that I work across the aisles? But they can't. They're scared to death of these freshman Democrats who are pushing the Democratic Party you and I grew up around so far to the left, you can't even see it from the middle.
You know, that's what it's like when you hand the keys to a teenager without a license. They're going to crash the car. It's like your fault for giving him the keys. Nancy just gave AOC and the squad and Schiff and Nadler, these crazy lunatics, the keys to this impeachment train, and they wrecked it. It's as clear as you can see.
There's one more statistic I'd like to share with you and your audience. Go back to August 1st. Why is that date important? Well, the media did a really good thing this summer. They were keeping tabs on how many Democrats had committed to an impeachment inquiry, that they would vote for that. By August 1st, 1/2 of all the Democrats in the House had committed. August 1st, Jesse, is 6 weeks before the so-called whistleblower complaint, the so-called, and so nobody even knew about that. And they had already committed to impeachment inquiry. So let's stop pretending that this has to do with the Ukrainian call. September 22nd was the first time any Democrat publicly stated that the reason he or she would vote for the impeachment inquiry was because of the president's call with Ukraine. September 22nd, about the same time President Trump was meeting with President Zelensky up in Unga. He got his meeting. So let's think about that. September 22nd, long past August 1st, when 50% of the Democrats are for impeachment, you have the first Democrat saying it's because of the Ukraine call. This is just foolish, and it's going to cost them. It's definitely, you're right, it's going to cost her gavel. More likely it's going to cost them a lot of precious political currency, because they will have to go home and they'll say, what have you done for me lately? And they're going to have to say, well, I impeached the president, but he's still the president, will be for 5 more years. If I were a 2020 Democrat running for president, I'd be hopping mad. They can't get a word in edgewise. Nobody even pays attention to them. Because if they thought any of them could really beat the president, they would put all their energy and issues and manpower behind that person. So many of them dropped out. So many more of them can't get traction. It's because of this. It's because the modern Democratic Party is so hell-bent on getting the president rather than getting you a job or dereg or the military funding. This was one of the most successful weeks of the Trump presidency. USMCA, China, military, the third consecutive military pay raise, third consecutive investment in our military of over $700 billion. They have more resources, more respect. NDAA, paid family leave, Space Force. Who knows what it'll do tomorrow?
All right, and Space Force. Kellyanne Conway, go Eagles, baby.
Thank you. EAGLES, Jesse. Thank you.